Imagine a world without your morning cup. Now, what if I told you the world's favorite beverage, second only to water itself, was once a guarded national secret? Its global rise was built on an act of industrial theft so audacious, it nearly toppled an empire and sparked wars. This is the story of how China lost its monopoly and how a single leaf forever reshaped global trade and colonial history. The story of tea begins in China, thousands of years ago. Tea wasn't just a drink, it was a sophisticated art, a medicine, and the sacred center of an ancient culture. For millennia, China held the absolute monopoly. Even its name tells the story of its journey. The two main root words, cha and tea, spread across the globe via two distinct paths. The term cha followed the overland trade routes, traveling with merchants across Central Asia and the Islamic world. But the term tea, as in tea, traveled the sea routes, carried by Dutch maritime merchants who introduced the leaf to Europe in the 17th century. When tea finally reached Britain in the 17th century, championed by figures like Catherine of Braganza, the Portuguese-born queen consort of Charles II, it instantly became a raging obsession. She popularized the afternoon tea ritual, transforming the exotic curiosity into a daily necessity for the elite and, soon after, a national addiction. And by then, Britain was obsessed. China demanded pure silver for every shipment, causing Britain to hemorrhage its national treasure. This silver drain became the prime motivator for a desperate, dangerous plot. After failing to fix the imbalance with force, exploitation. Significantly, the British had a head start. Before fortune, British officials had already discovered that tea was indigenous to India, growing wild in the jungles of Assam, a variety known as Camellia sinensis var. Assamica. The arrival of fortune's Chinese plants, combined with the Assam variety, provided the massive stock and the manufacturing know-how needed for industrial-scale cultivation. To sustain this industrial scale, the British relied on a system of indentured labor that was, in all but name, slavery. Millions of native Indians, often lured by false promises and desperation, were transported from their homes to remote tea estates. They were forced to work grueling, dawn-to-dusk shifts, often under the threat of violence and starvation. They were essentially prisoners on the plantations, bound by debt and subject to the complete authority of the British overseers. Disease, malnutrition, and exhaustion were rampant, and the death toll in the early decades was staggering. The entire foundation of the British Tea Empire was built on the suffering and forced labor of the Indian people. The industrial scale was unstoppable. By the late 19th century, with prices driven down by colonial efficiency and human cost, India officially surpassed China as the world's leading tea exporter. The secret national treasure had become a global commodity. Once mass-produced, tea became the people's drink in the West. It was cheap, warm, and, above all, safer than city water, fueling the workers of the Industrial Revolution. Ironically, in India, the very land where tea was now grown through the suffering of its people, the population initially rejected the drink. It was viewed as an expensive, foreign beverage for the wealthy British elite. To overcome this, the Tea Board of India launched massive, aggressive advertisement campaigns, targeting industrial workers with free samples and pushing the narrative that tea was a source of cheap energy. The campaign worked. But the ultimate victory came when Indians reclaimed and redefined the drink, adding milk, sugar, and indigenous spices to create the now iconic, flavorful masala chai, a vibrant, cultural staple. From China's closely guarded monopoly to a global commodity available on every street corner, tea's journey is a powerful reminder that every product we consume has a dramatic, hidden story of empire, exploitation, and audacious espionage. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden truth of tea, let us know what commodity we should expose next. Drop your ideas in the comments.